Vimy Ridge by Tony Dent. The smell of the bracken pressing his face, the young man opened his eyes and was aware of the sudden silence. No birdsong, just a blessed absence of sound. A light breeze pressed the short hair on the back of his head, which he slowly lifted. Through the cracks in the boards of the up-ended wagon which had shielded him, he could make out the scattered contents of his load. Beyond the boxes of ammunition, blanket packs and other military paraphernalia was the line of the ridge, darkened by a smoke haze clinging persistently over the churned landscape. He eased himself up, resting his aching back against the one undamaged wheel, his outstretched legs senseless extensions of his body. His one clear recollection of recent time was of struggling to release the panicking remains of his team. Ned was beyond help. Valerie writhed but was trapped in a tangle of harness. Only Duke and Pushkin could he free to tear away from the terror of bombardment. For a while, little else troubled him, until he became aware of a sound over his left shoulder. Slowly easing around, he found it to be the throaty murmur of a pigeon, sat on the projecting spoke of a shattered wagon wheel. He turned back to the mangled landscape stretching into the distance, a single idea taking hold and tormenting him. Enemies. The scourge of his father's pea crop, mocking him at a safe distance, and the Kaiser's hordes everywhere. A strange and unfamiliar mood started to come over him, a determination to take on both of them single-handedly. In a surprise move, and as if animated by these thoughts, the bird glided across and landed in the angle of his sprawled legs and settled onto the cushion of bracken. Reasoning that the pigeon's behaviour was not what he knew of the feral types on the farm, the young man slowly reached towards the bird, causing it to stand but not move away. As it did so, he noticed the small cylindrical attachment to its left leg. This was a carrier pigeon on active service and used to being handled, and so it proved. Stealthily, he stretched his open palm over the back, drew the bird to cradle on his chest, and was able to remove the cylinder. The paper it contained had a series of numbers on it, but showed its destination was battalion headquarters in Arras. Having previously no idea of how to get help, the means now nestled comfortably in his lap. Slowly, he probed around for the pencil stub in his tunic pocket. He also extracted, unexpectedly, a small manila envelope, sealed and marked Davey Benfield. Inside he found a few lines in an unfamiliar hand written on a signaller's pad, which read, "Sorry, old lad. Number 7 Field Hospital. Burns and splinters all over. Blood poisoning. Think it's a blighty one. Trying to hang on. See me when you can. Look after yourself. Jack." 2 or 3 times he read the message, hoping to change its awful impact. How could this be, when all he had to hang on to was the hope of seeing his lifelong friend again? Jack, who was always the strong one, the one who always knew what was right. The note fluttered away on a sudden light breeze. The bird shifted its position, restless. The improbability of his escape plan and fear now washed through him. Jack would know what to do. The bird made a curious, circular motion, becoming restless, rested and ready to take flight. Cupping it in his palm, he whispered his message. "Find him. Save him. Let him know he's always in my thoughts." Then with a swift upward thrust, he propelled it up and away to complete its mission. The breeze stiffened and changed direction. From behind and from the ridge, he now heard an indistinct sound. With difficulty, he manoeuvred around to look again between the slats of the cart's floor. His heart quickened as he saw a distant figure trudging steadily towards him. Curious at the sight of this single figure purposefully making its way across the empty landscape, he painfully hauled himself up to peer over the top of his shield. After several minutes, the shape started to resolve into that of a man in a uniform, but was lost behind a rise in the ground. Suddenly it reappeared much closer, and was identifiably dressed in the uniform of a British soldier, but without weapon or pack. He decided to risk exposing himself for a better view and heaved up for support against the broken hub of the wheel. As he recited the figure, it halted, flung an arm in the air and started waving, and then he heard it, the sound he'd been unable to place, the whistle. The sound propelled him back to the days when, sat on the tailgate of a cart homeward bound from a day working in the fields, Jack had tried to teach him to whistle. Ever after, it became the tune that burst from Jack's lips and said, "We are joyously on our way home." Incredulous, he started to wave vigorously towards the advancing figure. Overbalancing, he toppled back and sprawled in the bracken. He lay briefly, looking up into the clear sky of blue, tears of pure joy and relief welling up, pain forgotten. As he began the difficult task of trying to regain his perch alongside the cart, another sound took his attention. This became recognisable as the chatter of an aero engine. He froze, pressing as close to the boards as possible, twisting about for a glimpse of the plane. The sound told him it was moving to and fro, spotting. It came directly over and very low, unmistakable German markings on the wings and fuselage. The sound died away. He winced. A blinding light played across his face. Powerful hands hauled him to his feet. "Come on, my son. Let's get you sorted out and back to the farm. You're in for a right bollocking from the governor when he's back from the Harrogate rally tomorrow." His head throbbed. He was bruised and battered, but his legs worked. He couldn't wait to get in touch with Jack and tell him all about their adventures on Vimy Ridge.